Chapter 2300. Enhance my country's prestige 1. Lord Chaos. Lord Chaos. Each call of Sir Chaos was full of sincerity, which showed respect for Zhang Yi. Among these people, many actually had conflicts with Zhang Yi in the past, such as Li Chonggong and some Ypsilons from other regions. They may have been in high positions in the past and looked down on Zhang Yi as he rose step by step from being a warehouse manager. However, their attitude towards Zhang Yi changed from contempt at the beginning to fear and jealousy, and then to respect and envy today. As long as you reach a certain level, you will find that there are good people around you. There is always tenderness in their eyes, and no one will show hostility towards you. Even though Li Chonggong had had several conflicts with Zhang Yi and made Zhang Yi lose face in public, he no longer had any desire to fight with Zhang Yi. The strength that can wipe out the knights is completely not on the same level as them. The top warriors from the 6 regions bowed their heads in respect to Zhang Yi. Zhang Yi is surrounded by his friends who have followed him all the way. Zhou Ke, Yang Xia, and Yang Xinxin were right beside him. Seeing the attitude of Huaxu Kingdom's most elite warriors and the most powerful aliens towards Zhang Yi, their eyes were full of pride. Fatty Su and Uncle Yu followed in the back row. Fatty Su also puffed out his chest proudly, and then walked forward while raising his hand to signal the alien coalition below. Comrades, you've worked hard. Relax, don't be restrained. Li Yongyang stood next to Fatty Su, holding his hand affectionately, and felt infinite emotion when she saw this scene. She always felt like she had forgotten something. But that doesn't matter now. She felt that she was happy enough to be able to join the most powerful team of aliens in Huaxu country, and to be with the person she loved. If anyone wants to destroy this happiness, she will never forgive him. Zhang Yi came to the center of the parade and looked at the fierce and powerful army below. He felt such emotion in his heart. In 3 to 5 years at most, this force will become extremely terrifying. By then, even his mechanical army might not be as powerful as these people. After all, humans possess the potential for unlimited growth. This is the rule established by the Creator. Comrades, we have won a great victory and are returning with glory. Zhang Yi didn't act like a leader, nor did he say any nonsense. He was simple and direct, telling everyone that they could go home. Returning home with a great victory. Everyone is a hero. Aha! Suddenly, thunderous cheers rang out from below. Everyone's face flushed with excitement. They were heroes. Heroes worthy of being recorded in the history of Huaxu country. In the future history, there will definitely be a name for their army. Although a person's name may not be recorded in history books, it is enough to bring glory to their lives. The mechanical life forms also raised their arms, and the parade ground was filled with excitement and joy. Zhang Yi looked at Zhang Dawen, Xiao Lai, and others with a faint smile on his face. Let's not waste time here. Even if we want to celebrate, we have to wait until we return. Let's go. Zhang Yi left a mechanized force here. Some were responsible for repairing damaged buildings, while the rest continued to clear out the lizard men to prevent any from slipping through the net. Everyone looked at this huge underground empire with many thoughts in their minds, but they knew that this matter needed to be discussed with the leaders of each region after they returned, so no one said much. Well, we should go back. You don't know, back home. Our old coach must be so worried as hell. Ha ha ha. A group of people jumped for joy and boarded the mechanical life form. Zhang Yi opened the dimensional door and led them to leap towards Huaxu Kingdom from a depth of more than 20,000 meters underground. They came silently, but when they returned, they were still silent. There is no need to show off at a high-profile time. It is more suitable to make a fortune quietly. If he really wants the whole world to know, Zhang Yi will have to make all the necessary preparations. So such a huge army was transmitted through the huge space gate several times above the Pacific Ocean, and soon returned to Huaxu Kingdom. The place where they gathered was Blizzard City in the Jiangnan region. The news of Zhang Yi and his team's triumphant return had already been informed to the top leaders of each major region in advance. So far, only a small number of people in Huaxu Kingdom know about the expedition to the Wulwan Empire. Even the assembly of 50,000 troops was done in a very secretive manner. People in various regions only knew that there was a special operation, but no one knew what they were doing. Just today, Blizzard City is celebrating. Zhang Yi and his men returned, and an army of 50,000 appeared under the towering walls of Blizzard City. Long red banners with various words of celebration written on them were lowered from the reinforced concrete walls that were dozens of meters high. Warm congratulations to His Excellency Hundan on his triumphant return from the expedition with the Huaxiu army. The Huaxiu coalition forces have won a great victory, shocking the world. In front of the huge city gate, the person standing in the front was Ho Tu from Shengjing district. As the former #1 master of Huaxiu Kingdom, even though her limelight has been overshadowed by Zhang Yi, the oppressive power of the bishop level is still sufficient, and everyone else has to respectfully give way. Next to him are Meng Yuanjun, the supreme commander of Shengjing region, and Zhu Zheng, the supreme commander of Jiangnan region. The heads of various regions are all here today. A large crowd of people are nervously and excitedly waiting for the return of the long-range army. This victory seemed like a dream to them, not real at all. So they were very scared, afraid that when they saw the army returning, they would suddenly wake up from their dream. This is the greatest victory in the history of Huaxiu Nation. We are able to witness it with our own eyes, and it can be said that we have entered history. Li Guangxiao, the supreme commander of the East China Sea region, wiped his moist eyes as he spoke. He is the veteran god of war of Huaxiu country. He was born during the era of infantry tank coordination. He later experienced many wars and made great military achievements. But now, times have changed, and aliens have become the dominant force on the battlefield. But he was just sighing, not jealous. Instead, he felt sincerely happy that Huaxiu country had produced such outstanding talents as Zhang Yi and Yang Xinxin. In the northeast region, Luya Daojun Han Shanzhua and Ji Chonghai are also there. They looked at the tearful Li Guangxiao and said jokingly, "General Li, I'm afraid your navy will have to add more marines in the future." Chapter 2301. Enhance my country's prestige too. Li Guangxiao just smiled faintly when he heard this. Of course he knew what they meant, because in the future, the scale of naval battles will become smaller and smaller, and the entire Huaxiu kingdom may go underground one day. Haha, as long as it can ensure the stability and prosperity of our Huaxiu kingdom, I, Li Guangxiao, will not mind personally training the troops. Everyone laughed and talked happily. Meng Yuanjun raised his eyebrows and smiled. I just don't know what the borders of the Wulwan Empire are like. They say the population there can accommodate tens of millions, and it's incredibly prosperous. It's much better than our land of ice and snow. If the renovation is completed, we can really move there. At this point, everyone's faces showed meaningful expressions. Now that the war is over, it's time to divide the cake. This is not an easy thing to do. All the resources were taken away by Zhang Yi. Although they could not fight for them forcefully, they could adopt a conciliatory policy and tactfully complain to Zhang Yi about their poverty so that Zhang Yi would feel sorry for them and give them a larger share. Another thing is the border of the Wulwan Empire. If the 6 major districts move there in the future, there will definitely be differences in the amount of land distributed, as well as in good and bad plots. Even if you're not moving for the time being, you still have to reserve a seat in advance. Otherwise, if a war breaks out or a natural disaster strikes in the future and you want to go there again, but people tell you there are no seats available, won't you be stunned on the spot? Everyone present is a shrewd person. When it comes to intrigue and human relations, who among them doesn't have decades more experience than Zhang Yi? Of course, they would only choose to please Zhang Yi and ask for as many benefits as possible. No one would be so stupid as to slam the table and glare at Zhang Yi. They all knew Zhang Yi's character. He is soft-hearted and will not tolerate toughness. As long as you have a good relationship with him, he will be very generous to people he has a good relationship with. Meng Yuanjun smiled and thought of Li Yangyang, whom he had sent to be with Zhang Yi. He couldn't help but sigh at his own intelligence. With such a relationship, even if Li Yangyang didn't deliberately whisper in Zhang Yi's ear, at least they had already taken the lead in gaining Zhang Yi's favor. At that time, For the sake of Marshal Tianfeng, we will have to take some care of him. They're coming! Suddenly, someone shouted from the crowd. Everyone put their thoughts aside and looked quickly ahead. A huge dimensional gate opened in front of the city gate, and the first to appear was a large group of soldiers carrying large and small bags of supplies. Some of them walked, while others rode in small aircraft, many of which were captured from the Wulwan Empire. Some also rode mechanical life forms. After being with them for such a long time, some people fell in love with these reliable and steady big guys. They were very excited, and after meeting the top leaders of their respective regions, they quickly lined up nearby. After all the soldiers were lined up on both sides of the road, Zhang Yi and the Ypsilons from various regions slowly appeared. As soon as they appeared, the 100 cannons that had been prepared in advance were quickly fired. Boom, 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 boom. Strings of cannons were fired into the sky, with roaring sounds, followed by the traditional firecrackers of the Huashu Kingdom. Hundreds of long strings were lowered from the city walls, crackling. Ah! Lu Karen covered his ears and looked at the firecrackers on the city wall with great joy. Although it was primitive technology, seeing this familiar scene still made many people smile with nostalgia and happiness. Immediately afterwards, there was a loud sound of gongs and drums. A dragon dance team rushed out from Blizzard City, coiling 2 long red dragons, and began to perform to the accompaniment of firecrackers and fireworks. Everyone who saw this scene became stunned for a moment. Firecrackers, dragon dances. This should have been something they were very familiar with, but looking at it now, it felt as if they were in another world. Yes, before we knew it, the end of the world has been here for 4 years. In 4 years, a large number of people died, and they lost their originally peaceful lives. Nowadays, even though most people have enough food and clothing, such lively celebrations are no longer seen. Because everyone's time is busy with production and fighting. Preparing for a lively celebration takes too much time. There are certainly not many professional lion dancers, and it takes at least several months of practice. Dong dong clang, dong dong clang, dong dong cling clang. The gongs and drums were loud, and the firecrackers were blasting. It was as lively as the Chinese New Year, and many people couldn't help but shed tears when they saw this scene. These passionate men, who never cried even when fighting for their lives on the battlefield, now began to wipe away their tears. Zhang Yi took a deep breath, his eyes slightly moist, as if he saw the bustling and prosperous Tianhai city 4 years ago again. They really are thoughtful. The dragon and lion dances were very lively, and they soon made way for them, respectfully welcoming the return of Zhang Yi and the others. There were no flowers, but fireworks were not difficult to make. Various colorful fireworks and gold paper fell on the soldiers like rain. Zhang Yi walked to the city gate and nodded to Ho Tu and others. He didn't shake hands because he didn't dare to shake Ho Tu's hand. For years ago, Tu was able to use human active tissue to curse and kill others. For years later, who knows to what extent her ability has improved. He saw with his own eyes that Zheng Lu, the gatekeeper of the underworld, whose supernatural power index was as high as 52,000 points, was almost executed by the guillotine of hell thousands of miles away. People with special abilities like her, Yang Xinxin, and Li Changgong all have the ability to kill enemies across large differences in their ability indexes. Your Excellency, Chaos, welcome back. Thank you for your hard work in this battle. You will surely go down in history. The Huashu Kingdom is proud of you. The senior leaders from these major regions were also extremely polite after seeing Zhang Yi. Their attitude was no longer just a simple conversation with a powerful alien. Instead, they expressed their respect from the heart. In the past, no matter how strong Zhang Yi was, they only regarded him as a powerful, unstable factor. But after this battle, he became the hero of the entire Huashu Kingdom. The conquest of the Wulwan Empire and the complete victory will raise the overall national strength of Huashu Kingdom to a terrifying level. We've prepared a sumptuous celebration banquet. We hope everyone will not leave home drunk. Zhu Zheng used a loudspeaker to inform everyone of these words. It is not easy to prepare a grand banquet for 50,000 people, but it is all worth it. He walked up to Zhang Yi with the intimacy of an old acquaintance. Brother Chaos, we in the Jiangnan region are honored to have such an outstanding talent like you. This is also telling everyone invisibly how close the relationship between their Jiangnan region and Zhang Yi is. Chapter 2302 Enhance My Country's Prestige 3. Senior officials from various regions vied to curry favor with Zhang Yi and try to build closer ties with him. However, while Zhu Zheng was flirting with Zhang Yi, he was also looking around among the returning troops. He already knew that Zhu Yu was also in this army, and he felt nervous and a little angry. Sure enough, following his gaze, Zhu Yu slowly walked over. Father. Zhu Yu called out calmly, nodding slightly to show respect. It was Zhu Zheng who gave her life and concentrated the entire Jiangnan region to train her. Although Zhu Yu was dissatisfied with Zhu Zheng's restriction of her freedom, she still respected and loved her nominal father. Zhu Zheng looked at Zhu Yu with cloudy eyes, as if he wanted to blame him, but in the end it turned into a sigh. It's good that you're back. It's good that you're back. He patted Zhu Yu on the back of the head and said, You have made great contributions to the army this time. You are a meritorious official. Come celebrate with us. The crowd surrounded Zhang Yi and his group and entered Blizzard City. Although the entire Blizzard City was not decorated with lights and colors, there were many novel decorations in the city. The colorful display signs lit up, all in a lively red, playing festive music. The venue for the celebration banquet was very large. Although it was built temporarily, it was not shabby at all. After all, it needs to accommodate more than 50,000 people dining at the same time. However, the Jiangnan region is now considered wealthy. There has not been a large-scale war in Blizzard City in the past 4 years, and its technology is advanced, plus there is a part of the Yuanshu mine that Zhang Yi supported before. This place has developed rapidly, and a row of huge dining sheds have been built with special materials, which are simple but not crude. The indoor climate is warm, and the meals are provided by some of the best chefs in the city. However, it is the end of the world after all, and the number of good chefs is extremely limited. It is naturally difficult to ensure that the food for 50,000 people is of high quality. In fact, there are hundreds of heating devices running on the kitchen assembly line in the back. Open various cans of pre-prepared meals and put them on plates after heating. But even so, this is already a relatively high-end dish after the apocalypse. After all, fresh vegetables and fresh meat are only available to a small number of people at the top level in each region on a daily basis. People like Zhang Yi, who have retained an agricultural department in their own team, have long achieved dietary freedom. 50,000 troops marched in a mighty force in and around the square in the center of Blizzard City. The scene was too spectacular. The top leaders from each region made some casual remarks, and then everyone started drinking and eating in a lively atmosphere. Zhang Yi and his team, as well as senior executives from various regions, sat at a huge round table. The food they ate was naturally top-notch, but Zhang Yi never lacked delicious food, so he didn't gobble it up like the others. The waiter pushed over a cart with 10 bottles of white wine on it. Zhu Zheng smiled and said, "This is my treasured Jiuliang liquor. I took it out to share with you today, as it's such an important celebration." When many people who love drinking saw this scene, their eyes suddenly lit up. Baijiu is a favorite of many middle-aged and elderly people. But after the end of the world, it became very difficult for them to have a sip of good wine. First, wine is not a necessity of life, and its production requires a large amount of grain. Therefore, after the end of the world, all major regions began to implement prohibition and ban the production of alcoholic beverages. Second, the old wineries were not strategic locations, and an extreme cold snowstorm destroyed them all. Especially now, for years after the apocalypse, there is only a limited supply of alcohol, and the more we drink, the less there is. Therefore, the 10 bottles of Jiuliang liquor that Zhu Zheng took out were all considered precious. Seeing this, Zhang Yi shook his head. "Hey Zhu Shuai, you're really used to being stingy. Is this how you treat me at a time like this?" Zhu Zheng quickly explained, "Brother Hun Dun, it wasn't easy. I scraped these out from between my teeth." Zhang Yi smiled faintly and looked at him with raised eyebrows. "Have you forgotten what I do?" Zhu Zheng was stunned for a moment. Weren't you in charge of warehousing before? Zhang Yi laughed and said, "You're asking anyway, knowing that." As soon as he finished speaking, Zhang Yi stretched out his hand, and 2 boxes of white wine packed in yellow cartons appeared on the ground. When everyone saw this, Li Guangxiao, who loved drinking the most, slammed the table and stood up on the spot. It's actually the old village chief. Oh my god, 2 whole boxes. Everyone present was shocked when they heard this. Old village chief. That was the best liquor in Huashu Kingdom back then, and the only designated liquor for state banquets. After the end of the world, it is unimaginable that one can still drink such good wine. It's not that the technology is not good enough, but the most important thing in winemaking is grain. But the old village chief's grain production area. This is obvious to everyone. Zhang Yi generously placed bottles of wine on the table and waved his hand. Come on everyone, have a good drink today. Zhang Yi can now drink 1,000 cups without getting drunk. Zhou Qier has modified his body and his metabolism is extremely fast, so he is almost not affected by alcohol. But after drinking this good wine and enjoying the atmosphere, he felt extremely relaxed both physically and mentally. He drank his wine and looked at the sky outside through the transparent greenhouse. It's just an ordinary sky, but now it looks so beautiful. The Wulwan Empire was destroyed, and a huge stone that was weighing on the hearts of everyone in Huashu Kingdom was removed, and everyone was happy from the bottom of their hearts. How can you not see everything and feel it is more beautiful? Everyone drank heartily at the celebratory banquet. There was a feast of delicious food and wine, and everyone started talking. It was lively and no one mentioned anything unhappy. However, after the banquet, Meng Yuanjun and others invited Zhang Yi to the rest area in the back. The huge lounge is actually a luxurious villa with ample space, plenty of light, and luxurious and advanced furniture. Zhang Yi, Yang Xinxin, Zhou Qier, and senior executives from various regions gathered here. He also knew that these people must have something to say to him. As per convention, the group of people would definitely praise Zhang Yi's achievements, and Zhang Yi nodded in acceptance, feeling very pleased. But even though he had been drinking, his mind was still clear. He just looked at them with a smile, waiting for their next words. Everyone, you know my character. I don't like beating around the bush. Just say what you want to say. Zhang Yi said lightly. Everyone looked at each other, and finally Meng Yuanjun was the first to speak. Lord Chaos, logically we shouldn't spoil your fun right now. However, this matter concerns the future survival of our 6 regions, so I have to be shameless and ask a question. How much of the spoils of the Wulwan Empire do you plan to give us? A little more or less to fill the gaps we have now. For this war, our Xinjiang region has spared no effort in manpower and resources, and even emptied our resources. Dear viewers, thanks for staying with me. We'll try to get you more updates. Please like and subscribe and share the video with your friends. Love you all.